Can men and women be friends? The short answer is no, but I'll make it way long and it'll probably be 40 minutes long, but I got all the time in the world. Yes, I'm using a second generation iPad. Sue me. Sue, but actually don't do that. Hi guys. Welcome back to the Hippiearab Podcast, now known as Uncomfortable Truths. Now today is a very uncomfortable truth. But remember, this podcast is also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Now, without further ado, let's ask the question, can men and women be friends? Let's see what people had to say on Instagram. I asked this question. A lot of people had so many opinions. Rightfully so. I have a lot of opinions myself. But I'm going to read some to you guys. I'm going to start with the short responses because they're easier to digest and absorb. And then I'm going to move on to paragraphs that people sent me because they felt a text box couldn't do them justice. And honestly, same. I would have done the exact same thing. Here are the answers that I got. Closeness in men and women will always result in feelings one way or another. Starting light, starting easy. Next one? Yes, if he's not good looking. You don't have a problem with that. Not many are. Anyway, so doesn't matter. Anyway, some of the two will catch feelings. Guys, you need to work on your grammar when you send in your responses. Please, double check what you write to me before you send it and click send. It's giving me brain trauma. Their instinct gonna take over. I love the way that was phrased. Really, straight to the point. Their instinct gonna take over. I love that. I love the way that was put. Because it's haram to talk. Be friends with the opposite gender. You're so right. You're like when I asked the cashier how much is it and he says something, that's haram. That's haram. I agree with you 1000% on that, yeah. Maintaining limits, not crossing the boundaries, and doing only social media communications, I think yes. Guys, do you know the things that can happen over social media? Pictures can get sent. Just a reminder. I didn't want to put that out there, but again, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. So, yeah. Why not? That's a great question, which is why I'm trying to make this video and explain why not. That's not a justification, though. Why not is not a proper justification. I need you to give me logic. I need you to give me points. Okay, if I'm having a debate with someone and someone says, why not, I will punch them in the face. Respectfully. I will respectfully do that. I like this one. Are you ready? There's always going to be some sexual tension. This person definitely wrote a book, like a Wattpad book or something like that. Definitely. I'm placing all of my bets on it. Because gender is made up and not everyone wants to F everyone else. That's great. That's a lovely response. Thank you so much for your contribution. I really wanted to hear that today. He is my best friend. That's the justification. I said, why do you think men and women can be friends? He is my best friend. That's it. That's the argument. I like it. It's personal. Adds a little personal zest into the conversation. I'm actually not mad at that. Based on my experiences, very beautiful and meaningful bonds can form between different genders, age, and etc. Well, you know what pedophiles say. Age is just a number. I just wanted to put that out there. No, I just wanted to put that out there. Don't start typing angrily. Okay, I just wanted to put that fact out there. That is what they say. Then that is what the girl said. It just sparked a different wire in my brain. Don't come at me. If he or she is so sure about not wanting a relationship, then yes, they can stay friends. Dude, I'm not even sure about what I'm going to have for lunch. So okay, let's move on to the longer responses. Okay, this is the first account. No, they can't. And I had a lot of guy best friends before. It's because when two people get along so well, spend a lot of time together, and enjoy each other's company, one of them will feel a lot closer to the other and will start to have feelings for them. So man and woman can't be friends. It's in their nature to have feelings for each other if the relationship was deep and strong. They can be teammates, coworkers, but not friends. Okay, next response. A guy and a girl can be friends. It doesn't have to be sexual or romantic. And coming from a Muslim household, I've grown up with the thought of it not being right. But as I grow up, I think there are things such as platonic friendships or relationships, which I think is highly misjudged by third parties. I personally don't have any brothers, but even though I have cousins, I'm not close with them, so having a guy friend, it's kind of like having a brother if you think about it. Next. It's been a widely held belief that maintaining a platonic friendship between a man and a woman is a challenging skill. The thing is, spending significant time together creates emotional intimacy, and eventually one or both parties will find themselves attracted to each other. I feel like the distinct communication styles, emotional connections, and physical attraction all can complicate opposite-sex friendships. And I also argue that over time, these factors increase the likelihood of romantic feelings developing. This is by far the most grammatically correct paragraph that was sent in. I just want to put that out there. Emphasis on grammar. Guys, it's important. Seriously. Next. Men don't know how to befriend women. They always have an expectation and want something in return. The woman said it, not me. But I do agree. Next, there are so many ways of loving other people, and most of them do not include sexual interest. But we've been educated, especially us women, into thinking men as possible husbands or not possible husband. This way of thinking excludes so many other kinds of relationships and experiences that do not need to be defined or called by name. But not everyone is ready to change the paradigm. It's easier to think in a binary way, and as long as you're happy, it's fine. I mean, I like that response, even though I don't agree with it. I think it was very well put. Okay, next. Whoever said yes is delusional. That was actually a response that I got. Shout out to you, girl. I'm so happy I'm done reading responses. Sorry, it's not that. It's just, there's just so many ideas. My brain can only do so much, you know? What I'm going to try and do in this episode is, well, first of all, I'm going to try and refrain from putting my opinions all over the place, okay? I do have a lot of opinions, especially in this topic, you know, but I'm going to try to keep it light. I'm going to try to keep it unbiased, even though I'm only human. I can't put copyright, guys. The song's just... What I'm going to try and do in this episode is delving deep into, the studies covering this topic, as well as the Islamic perspective, because I always like to see where these two things correlate, because believe it or not, they correlate on a lot of things. And one part usually steals facts from the other, but we're going to ignore that. And I think you can guess what steals from what. That's not important. Well, it is, but not in this episode. Okay, so, without further ado, let's get started. Cross-sex friendships is how it's usually referred to in the academic field, has only been around for the last couple of thousand years. So, to us, it's like this completely natural thing because it's what we see in our day-to-day lives and it's what we've been raised to believe is completely normal. But I mean, if you go back in time, men and, they didn't go together very well. They were just there to reproduce and survive, basically. Now, here's the thing. With social media, that has taken a complete rise, right? With social media, there's just been a complete increase in the number of friends that one has. And not necessarily close friends, but a social circle. And in turn, that multiplies the number of cross-sex friends that a person may have. Because statistically speaking, if you have more friends, you are more statistically likely to have more cross-sex friends. Now, there was this video that I watched maybe in middle school or high school, a long, long time ago. And it was titled, Why Men and Women Can't Be Friends. And it's honestly so funny to the point that we're going to watch it together. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we are at the Utah State University Library for some interviewing to ask people if they believe that men and women can be just friends. So let's go inside and see what we can find. Do you believe that men and women can be just friends?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
I think
Notice how women are so quick to say yes. They're like, yes, yes. It's almost like it hurts my neck nodding that fast. Men take a longer time. Men are like, I don't like, let me think this through a little. Anyway, it's
it'd
so
be
funny.
hard to do.
Yes.
I mean, we're all men.
I know.
So of course we're going to have those feelings, and we can be content with just friendship, and we can be silent regarding those feelings, but we're gonna have them.
Yes.
That just makes me feel like men are playing the long game. I mean, that's always been my idea of the friendship zone. Mostly men are in the friendship zone, and they're playing the long game. Like, I'm gonna get her one day. I don't know. That's just what I've been seeing all the time.
No. No.
Yes.
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 I don't believe so. No.
I guess what I'm saying is no.
Backpack real quick and then run to...
Okay, we'll walk with you. Do you believe men and women can be just friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do you have...
Guys, like, just not one woman said no. Or maybe a woman said no and they just cut that out. But I mean, no way all of these women said yes. No way. It blows my mind.
have any guy friends right now who you're just friends with?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All my best friends are guys. Dave.
Listen, when a girl says all of my best friends are guys, I don't know how to feel about that. Just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Something about that doesn't feel right. I'm not going to throw out the word pick me because I hate that word with a passion. In fact, I want to cancel that word. I want to be the first person to say, let's cancel the word pick me. But no, I wouldn't call her a pick me. It's just weird. It's okay. Okay, let's just keep going.
Trevor.
Taylor Mulford.
Bobby. Yeah.
They're basically saying the names of victims. I'm sorry. Let's keep going.
How long have you known Trevor?
2 years.
Of those guy friends, do you think any of them secretly like you? And be honest,
Probably. Yeah.
do you think that guy is interested in you?
Yes. Okay, maybe you can only be just friends in high school, because most guys won't just be my friend.
Would
That is so sad. Okay, well, no, I mean, that says that she's pretty, which a win is a win. A win is a win.
Dave hook up with you if you gave him the chance?
Well, yeah.
Do you think Trevor liked you?
Yeah.
And
Shoot.
would he hook up with you if you wanted to hook up?
Yeah.
So shameless. Like, okay, here's what I think is what is weird to me. Women will have these friendships knowing that the guy they're friends with is attracted to them. And they're fine with that. They're like, yeah, it's okay. Oh, okay. I don't know, like if that's the case, there's always going to be the potential because you know your feelings on your end, but you don't know the feelings on the other end. So if you know for a fact that they are attracted to you, that's just like you're waiting for something to happen. Be it a disaster, be it a love story, I don't know, but you're waiting for something to happen. Rather than being direct, you're just like waiting for something to brew up. You know, something is cooking. Maybe not something good, but something is definitely cooking.
So he likes you. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is men and women can't be friends.
No, we can be friends.
But you're just friends, but he likes you.
Yes.
Do you guys see the logic there? Hold on, let me go back because I interrupted this like a billion times.
So he likes you. Would he hook up with you if you wanted to hook up?
Yeah.
So he likes you. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is men and women can't be friends.
No, we can be friends.
But you're just friends, but he likes you.
Yes.
So it's
Do you see the lost logic in that? She's like, yeah, we're just friends, but he likes you. Yeah, it is a one-sided friendship. He's not wrong.
That was one
instance.
If she wanted to hook up, would you hook up?
Oh, totally. Look at her.
Don't be sarcastic. I need the truth.
Seriously, yeah.
All right, there we go. All right, that's perfect.
Oh, okay. I would leave. I'd be like, that's great. And then I'd just walk out the library. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Because of physical attraction. It's not possible.
I love that guy. Everyone in the comments they were head over heels for that guy because of his honesty, and honestly, same. It's the sandwich. I think it's the sandwich.
But you said I just want to be just friends.
Yeah.
Now, do you literally believe that he's not interested in you at all? Oh, yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. As we can see, after interviewing...
So that was Jess Budd and Patrick Romero. Honestly, making an excellent point. I don't know if they cut women out of the video who said no. There probably must have been some amount of women that said no. It just can't be. It can't be because I know women. I know I'm a woman. I'm a woman. If I'm a woman, that means I can speak for all women. That was sarcasm. I can't. But women are not dumb. Okay, women are not dumb. When we're going into these friendships, we know. We can sense it. We can sense if it's not just a friendship. And then the receiving end of the friendship, right, probably a male, is just obviously has feelings. Almost always they have feelings. There's this study. Gosh, I love studies. They just prove me right every time. Almost every time. There's a study called Benefit or Burden? Attraction in Cross-Sex Friendships. And they have these amazing, amazing results that showcase how men and women feel about each other in the cross-sex friendship, and how men think of the woman differently than the woman does of the man in the friendship. And not to say in terms of attraction, but in terms of if they think that their friend is attracted to them. So, for example, men's attraction to female friend is relatively high, whereas women's attraction to the male friend is, well, lower. And men's perception of friend's attraction to him, so like if they think that his female friend is attracted to him, is also pretty high up there, as well as the women. I mean, the women do always think that the men that they're friends with do have some kind of crush on them. That's just women for you. And then women's actual attraction to their male friend is almost always lower than the men's attraction to the woman, to the female friend. So it just goes to show that, and you can see this in sitcoms, this is a very prevalent idea that it's always most likely it's always the man that has feelings for the woman, whereas the woman's just like, fine. She's just like, it's a backup. And they do think it is a backup. I mean, you can see it with women when they do get into relationships. Her male friends start to lose interest because they're like, well, that's it, you know? And women start acting surprised, like, no, where are you going? I thought we were friends. Really? No, because it's like, there are studies that show women treat men like their backup plans, like their plan B. Like, if the relationship that I'm in doesn't end up successful, I'm just, I have backup options. I have all of these guy friends that I can pick from. And it's almost like a rebound. So maybe her self-esteem is lower than usual because she just got out of a relationship. So she's just more prone to pick one of her guy friends. And I mean, tell me that's not a recipe for disaster. I mean, it just complicates things unnecessarily and, well, in a not very pretty way. This is just one figure from the study, Benefit or Burden, Attraction in Cross-Sex Friendships. And it's very, very interesting. I really recommend that you read it. There are a lot of other findings from this paper. It's relatively long. It's like 28 pages long. Bro, listen, I am passionate, but I'm not that passionate, so I didn't read all of it. But let me tell you what Islam has to say about this. Now, there is a prerequisite in Islam. Always when there is an Islamic perspective or a ruling, or a verse talking about a specific thing, we have to have one thing in mind before anything else, a prerequisite. And that is two of Allah's names, two of the names of the God that we worship, who is Allah, is Al-Alim Al-Hakim. the all-knowing, the all-wise. So in turn, he is the one who created knowledge, he created wisdom, and he embodies these traits holistically. He embodies other traits, 99 traits in total, but he embodies them holistically because he created them. And so naturally, it is beyond our scope of understanding in an infinite level, like infinitely much more wise and much more knowing, because he created everything. He would know what he created. So logically speaking, we can say that Allah knows humans better than they know themselves. And there's this really beautiful ayah in the Quran that goes, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you, and Allah knows, but you don't. You know, all the time we talk about how we know if something is good for us, or if something is just meant to be for us, or like, this is what's best for me right now. We actually don't know that. We don't. And sometimes we think bad things happen to us, but when we look in retrospect, when we look at our life like this big picture, and looking at the film of our life, like we can see it as one big picture, we'll see it clearly. And we'll see that some bad moments made us better people, and some good moments made us worse off. So in essence, we don't actually know what's good for us. We can only assume, we can only try our hardest to be led in the right direction, but we don't know what's right for us. So that's why us Muslims, we just send it off to Allah, because we don't know what's good for us. We let Allah rule our lives and tell us how to live our lives, because He's the one who created us. So this leads to the idea that Islam is the answer, always. Islam is always the answer. If you're facing a life dilemma, if you're facing something in life, Islam is the answer. This is all a prerequisite, by the way. And so you could argue that without Islam, corruption ensues. Corruption starts to take place. Mischief starts to take place. All of these things start to fall out of place because we naturally don't know what's good and what's bad for us. So we just follow whatever we think is right, and probably sometimes it isn't right. And so that's why we think that Islam is the answer to everything, because it already has an answer to everything. Literally, you could search up any question, it has an answer. So its whole idea on cross-sex friendships is that, well, based on the definition of friendships that I gave at the beginning, there is not supposed to be such a thing. You know, friendships between a man and a woman that aren't legally binded, or that are not siblings, or, you know, that have lawful relationships in Islam, they're not supposed to happen. They're not supposed to take place, because you never know what it could unfold into. It could always contain some unknown intention on either side. And I mean, here's the thing. When a Muslim girl and a Muslim guy get into a friendship, they always say, yeah, as long as our intentions are pure. First of all, I don't know what that means, intentions are pure. Like, friendship is sharing these intimate moments with a person, and it's on an emotional level. You know, so having pure intentions in that regard, I personally don't find that to be valid, but I mean, I don't see a way that you could justify that. And you never know the intention of the opposite party. You know your intentions full and well, but how do you know the intentions of the opposite party? Even if you ask them, they might not disclose their entire intention. Their intention might be dual, like two-faced. You know, like they say, oh, I just want someone to talk to that I can learn from and just, you know, become more well-rounded and see like the male or female perspective, just, you know, to be better. But you never know their actual intention. Like, there's no way of finding out. Remember when I talked about the idea that without Islam, corruption ensues, right? Like, we take our rules and regulations from Islam because we don't know the bigger picture. So with cross-sex friendships, this is just one point of the argument, is that we don't know the repercussions and effects of that friendship. So we think that it's not going to affect anyone, that this is just like a fling or like a one-time thing, or this isn't really harming anyone, and I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. One way of justifying whether something is, I guess, valid or invalid, I wouldn't want to say right or wrong because everyone has their different rights and wrongs, but if something is acceptable or not acceptable, you take it to the extreme maximum. So you impose it on everybody. Let's assume that everybody's doing it. Everybody is in cross-sex friendships. Everybody is in these platonic friendships. And I'm talking about heterosexual people in platonic friendships. And then soon they get into relationships, not with these platonic friends. They get into other relationships with other people. And I mean, don't you think the past friendships are going to interfere with the relationship that's taking place? I mean, in some way, shape, or another, it is, because in this study, the same study that I mentioned in Benefit or Burden, Attraction in Cross-Sex Friendships, in the abstract, because I'm very lazy to read the entire paper, it says that younger females and middle-aged participants who reported more attraction to a current cross-sex friend reported less satisfaction in their current romantic relationship. So our findings implicate attraction in cross-sex friendship as both common and of potential negative consequences for individuals' long-term mateships. So in essence, I mean, you get more burden than benefit is what the paper in essence is trying to bring across, you know. And I think the method of this paper was honestly very well done. I'm not sure as to how many participants were in the study. It says here that there were 132 males and 191 female adults in the young and middle-aged adult sample, all of which were in the United States, but 80% were from the Midwest. So there may be somewhat of a demographic involved, right? Like in terms of their location and just their culture in general. But I mean, it does correlate with other cultures. I mean, we can argue that culture is a big defining factor on whether this is a thing or not. Like, can men and women be friends in, for example, Italy? Can men and women be friends in Russia? Can men and women be friends in, I don't know, I was going to say Bosnia. Can men and women be friends in Zimbabwe? I had to include an African country for inclusion. No, I'm kidding. No, but really, like all of these countries, we don't know, right? Because we have different cultural anthropology and just upbringing in general. And I mean, I can only really speak from my perspective, which is the Arab perspective. I mean, I live in the Middle East. I am Middle Eastern. Now, with the Islamic perspective, it says that, it doesn't say, that's the interesting thing, it doesn't say that men and women can interact in the workplace or interact socially, but it gives rules and guidelines as to how that can take place. So by default, that is going to happen. It's almost as if it is said that that's going to happen inevitably, because I mean, that is going to happen inevitably, you know what I mean? Men and women are going to work in the workplace. But here's the thing, is that Islam provides how that can take place. Like the guidelines and the etiquette by which you can follow to ensure that nothing goes out of place, to ensure that you're not causing any kind of mishap, you know, and that's what I love. And the first one is to lower your gaze. Simply put, lower your gaze for both men and women. I mean, in other cultures, it's so easy to gawk at other women. Gawk at men, I mean, I guess, but it's mostly gawk at women. It's mostly men that gawk at women, other than vice versa. And that's just one preventative act that could literally solve 90% of the problems. Just lowering your gaze could solve 90% of the problems. The second one is to stay clear of secluded encounters. So a man and a woman, you know, in Islam cannot be within the same room alone. There's this hadith that says, a man is not alone with a woman, but the third of them is shaitan. Basically, they will be tempted in some way, shape, or another, but it might not be in action. It might be all in the mind. Like, it might not physically take place, but that it will come up in the brain. So that's just a preventative act. It's not like if you're left alone, you're going to do some weird, uncalled for stuff. No, that's not going to, probably most likely that's not going to happen. But we're talking of preventative acts, things that measures that you can take so you don't let it get to the next level. And honestly, that's the best way to go about it, because you are not in control of the situation most times, because you're dealing with another person and you don't know what the other person is going to do. The third one is to set your tone correctly. So especially for women, I mean, men are just like out and about, just like, but for women, it's important to not beautify the voice, like make it very lustful, like, how are you doing today, Muhammad? No, we want, how are you doing today, Muhammad? We don't need any of that. That's not necessary, really. There's this ayah that talks about it, and in Ramadan I came across this ayah and I was not sure of what it meant, and I asked my mom. It goes, Ya nisa an-nabiyyi لستن كأحد من النساء إن اتقيتن فلا تخضعن بالقول I asked my mom, I was like, what is تخضعن? What is that? That's like, I've never heard of that word before. And apparently it means to be soft, to soften your voice. So this translates into, O wives of the Prophet, you are not like among other women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech. So don't go to other men and be like, how are you today? How are you? No, we don't need any of that, okay? Women, we go, how are you today? Actually, don't even ask that. You don't need to know that information. That's probably not even important. Moral of the story is to not beautify your voice. You don't, and this is, by the way, this is something that you see a lot here. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in TikTok, it shows like a lot of girls just post things that they do on a regular basis, like things that they just do for no reason. And one of those things is they will flirt for no reason. For absolutely no reason. Like they will just flirt for the heck of it. Like, what is the reason? I don't know. It just felt fun. Why not mess with the other person's emotions? It felt really fun at the moment. So, I'm just gonna like use my voice to do something, or send like a snarky text, or you know what I mean? Like, there's absolutely no necessity to do that. And you have to ask, like, you're dealing with another person. It might be better that you don't play with their feelings, regardless of what gender they may be. It doesn't matter. But it's just better that you don't do those very unnecessary acts, Muslim or not Muslim, just because it's really genuinely, at its pure core, unnecessary. Like, there's no need for it in any way, shape, or form. Maybe you want something, ask politely. You don't need to be flirtatious or coquettish about it, And I just see that, like, predominantly now. Like, it's just something that women do easily. I'm not talking all women. Okay? People are going to comment about that. Like, you think all women flirt? No. But a lot of women use it for no reason. Or for a specific reason, but that doesn't have to be the method by which they get the thing they want. So it's just, I don't know, this unnecessary flirting irks me. Both ways. I mean, men can flirt, but men really flirting, they're not really good at that. So, it's not even a problem at this point. Women are good at it, but women need to really tone it down. Otherwise, it really can get out of hand because you are playing with a person's feelings. So the fourth one, we're talking about the etiquette. The fourth one is interactions should be purposeful. Now, this is something that literally just ties into what I said, is that interactions are supposed to have a purpose. If you're going to talk to someone of the opposite sex, let it have a purpose. Don't just whatever, let's talk about whatever, because I just want to talk to someone. Make it have a purpose. This is mostly for my Muslim audience. I mean, for non-Muslims, this is just, I guess, unnecessary ruling if you're not Muslim to begin with. But if you do want to have a peaceful environment that consists of, cross-sex relationships, and you just are inevitably going to deal with the opposite gender, you want each and every interaction to be purposeful. That way you don't step out of line in some way without even realizing it, because you might without realizing it. So it's better to just keep it straight to the chase. What do you want? What do I want? Okay, here. This is what's going to happen. So it's just better to keep it concise and straight to the point. I feel like I'm giving a fatwa. Astaghfirullah. Okay, the fifth one is to treat each other with dignity. Have respect. Nothing condescending. A lot of, if you see the comments today, and I'm not saying comments are a reflection of day-to-day communication in real life, but I mean, if you see the comments of Muslims sometimes in the comment section, it will get downhill so fast. It will get downhill so fast, And this is just a general rule of thumb, is to just keep it respectful. Make sure to not condescend the person that you're talking with, and make sure that you're doing it in a way that keeps the other person's dignity, And that also includes what not to say. Sometimes you have things to say, but it's also a matter of what not to say and in front of who. So keep that in mind for the next time. Because manners and character, by the way, are one of the highest things with regards to Islam in general. To be pious is to be good in character and to be very, very respectful to the people that you meet, whoever it may be. That was it, guys. That was the entirety of today's episode. There was a lot that I wanted to delve deep into. I wanted to get into anything and everything, really, regarding this topic, but I wanted it to keep it concise, and I wanted to make sure that my message got across in terms of the Islamic perspective. And I guess there was one research paper really underpinning this entire video, and I'll link it in the description below, inshallah. But it's this question that I don't think is light or should be taken lightly. When I asked this question on my Instagram, someone responded seriously, like, is this even a question? And I mean, yeah, it pretty much is. It has been a question for as long as we've lived, It's not something that's tedious to discuss or I guess fruitless in what it has to offer or the answers it may offer. I think there's a good deal that you can find in investigating this question and seeing it in your own life. Because doing everything with purpose, not leading life in this whatever attitude, it just makes your life a lot more productive, and it makes it a lot more peaceful. A lot of people can, go with the flow. They can befriend whoever they want. They could do whatever they want. Heck with it. But at the end of the day, you should ask, is there really peace? Are they really peaceful? Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this episode, and I hope to see you in the next episode. And I really hope I didn't offend anyone, even though that's actually impossible. I probably did offend some people, but that's going to be the gist of every episode anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Have a great day, and, well, reassess your friendships. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.